Alright, Heinrich. The Infernus Master salutes you cheerfully with his low stick. Lord Captain, what an unexpected encounter. What brings you to this compartment? The famous cuisine and magnificent vistas, no doubt. I seek the Bloodspun Web's temple. Do you know where they're hiding? What are you doing here? I must take my leave. What are you doing here? I'm here to patch up Savage, locomotive number 3, under the Tech Priest supervision. That old grump is my personal favorite on the entire freight line. Every couple of years, Savage gets mad, his boiler catches fire and starts spitting his steam at the repairman. Guess who they call to take care of him in these situations? The Inferni, of course. And after I've done all the most dangerous work, that's when the Iron Brains come in. But that's alright, I love Savage. When he's in a good mood, the feeling you get standing at his levers and speeding down the freight line is indescribable. I envy those tech priests drivers who get to operate him every day. The roar of the boiler, the wheels thumping like mad, and all the furious power pulsing in your hands, responding to the slightest movement. How about, there's a mischievous spark in Heinrich's eyes, I introduce you. Hey Dragon Tier Leather, welcome. Is it safe? I can't turn down an offer like that. I think I'll decline or I must take my leave. Is it safe? Oh, I refuse to believe Savage would dare scald the Lord Captain. He definitely should not. Well, then I can't turn down an offer like that. The panel before you is covered with technical runes, lumens, and levers. The platform shakes with the boiler's mighty vibration as the iron beast beneath your feet growls and snorts ferociously. Heinrich squints contentedly and whispers the litany of ignition before turning to you. The machine is angry and refuses to obey. Right now, Savage is powered by the auxiliary maneuvering engine. We will need to start the main rotor if we want to take a trip down the freight line. Initiating the train blessing algorithm. Let not corrosive wear separate the wheel set. Let the traction drive receive the touch of the motive force granted by the invisible hand of the Omnissiah. Let his grace strengthen the joints and supports that lift the body above the decay of mortal tracks. Hear me, driver, and praise the machine god thrice, for it is only his will that the miracle of sacred locomotion is accomplished. The blessings has been successfully executed. What about these locomotives? They look like repurposed parts of other machines, but maybe that is the aesthetic the designers were going for. I mean, probably some amount of repurposing is involved, but most important machines are made to standard construction templates that the tech priests have been slowly collecting and gathering so that they can learn how machines used to be fabricated and remake them. So, standard template construct, maybe that's the word? I forget. So I'm assuming something big and fancy like this is probably made based on a construct template. And then it's been patched up for centuries by the various workers using whatever parts they can find. Listen to the rumbling noise coming from the boiler. The stubborn machine does indeed seem remarkably similar to a wild beast. The roar of the mechanism resembles horse growling, and the scarlet glow of the lumens on the control panel makes you think of a malicious glare of a predator. The spirit of the machine is vicious, but strong and lively. What should I do? Put your hand on the big lever and gently give it a pull. Very gently. Heinrich's face is focused, but his voice has not lost any of its playful cheer. Savage does not like to be hassled. Resolutely grab the biggest lever. I assume this is grabbing it and not pulling it, and then this will be the gentle pull. A deafening clang resounds from Savage's innards, and the train shudders underfoot, as if preparing to leap forward. Whoa, careful, your lordship. Don't let this monster smash us against the nearest wall. Put your hand on the big lever and gently give it a pull. Very gently. And its face is focused. Alright, gently pull it towards me. A few erratic jolts shake the platform, and an indignant groan emanates from the depths of the machine. An intense shudder passes through the lever and into the palm of your hand, and there is a strange feeling of emptiness in your stomach. Savage's fiery heart is stirring. Do you feel it? There is so much energy and defiance in him. This is a rocket, not a locomotive, unruly and enamored with speed, but quite willing to submit to a strong hand. There's almost a loving tenderness in Einrich's voice. Pull the lever towards you, smooth but firmly. Then pump the fuel with this command rune. Smiled Einrich, unruly and defiant, but submits to a strong hand, much like yourself. A roguish gleam appears in his eyes. You don't say. Alright, let's pull the lever and pump the fuel. A new explosion inside Savage shakes his iron body, causing your eyes to see double from the vibration. Now you're feeling his real power. He can run down the entire freight line in a minute given the chance, and kill everyone who rides him at that speed. Now try applying some thrust to the main rotor. Grab those paired levers and give them a firm tug. Reach for the ornately carved levers and awaken the beast. Or wink at Einrich, show me how it's done. No, I'm going to do it myself, of course. And by I'm going to do it, I'm going to let Pascal show me how to do it. A torrent of steam bursts from the slit in front of your face, but Einrich deftly covers you with his shoulder. A moment later, you realize that you cannot hear a thing, or rather, you hear only one thing, the roar of the engine, triumphant and powerful. Looks like Savage has agreed not to kill us both. His tech priest guardians will be pleased. All hail, the Lord Captain. You have subdued a mighty beast today. Now, I'm sure you have urgent business to attend to, and it's time for me to drive Savage down the line and see if he is feeling cranky. Yes, STCs, but I wonder if it's not parts of several STCs given the open platform and slightly convoluted controls. But maybe I'm thinking too much into this. It's possible. They mentioned that the train was requisitioned by the rogue trader before Theodora. I'm assuming it's possible that they combined multiple STCs to create it to the rogue trader specifications. But it feels like a train is something common enough that they would have a pattern for it and just follow that. But maybe there are some modifications based on the rogue trader's desires. Who knows? It was most intriguing. I'm pleased. Have a good trip. I doubt that I'll have much use for this lesson. Change of plans. Full speed ahead. We are heading down the freight line. That was most intriguing, Einrich. I'm pleased. Einrich lowers his eyes and grins. Could I have wished for anything more, your lordship? I now wish I'd asked him about the Bloodspun web. We skipped it because I wanted to see this thing first, but if he's leaving, then I should have asked earlier. Alright, have a good trip. Everything is going to be alright. A Savage would never fry me, right, Savage? Alright. So... yeah, we've got our latest mark telling us to go this direction. And then that's where the path ends. We can't go...
None shall stand in my way.
Let's see. The soundless shadows sank into the dark, slashed feet crescendo, a fatal dance. Blade song and tempo, each edge an echo. Twin odes to death throes. Now on her sacred blood, as she once trod the backs of foes, tread countless souls, but none who know. That's the clue we were given. I don't know. It's clear that it's pointing me in this direction. But I would expect there to be some indication of where to go from here. We followed this path, it came over here, led us here, and it's pointing this way. Did we forget to examine this one? Maybe. Apparently. Oh, there is a guy here asking for mercy when we tried to click on this. Mercy, please save me. The young man gasped for air through burnt lips, slipping in and out of delirium. His skin is dripping from his gaunt body, like melted wax from a candle. His eyes, somehow intact, alive, clear, and filled with pain, stare at you from under his caked eyelids. Who are you and what happened to you? Iconoclast, switch to your Vox. Get some enforcers and Medicaid personnel in here now. There's a man in need of revival. Once he is recovered, assign him to be a scribe's apprentice. He is too badly injured to go back to a worker's life. Do you know anything about the mark next to you? Who are you and what happened to you? I'm Vale, a cleaner. I was in my house, asleep. Enforcers came, set fire to it. I didn't make it out in time. Yeah, we can see the enforcers have burned the place. Do you know anything about the mark next to you? He tries to turn his head, his blackened skin crunching as it opens into scarlet cracks. A spinner came. He painted the symbol. Then he gave me water and whispered a strange verse. He told me to memorize it and to recite it later so that help would come. And here you are. Then I should... He began to whisper, his lips twisted in pain. To soothe Soot-smirched soul, her mercy she did grant. Last breath expressed, knife met heart. Removed from chest, passed on to death. Her duty blessed, a balm for those who suffer, anguish and distress, a longing brought to rest, of mortal bonds, the soul divest. Assess the man's chance of survival. Yes. He might survive, but he will be maimed for life. Too much of his muscle has been charred down to the bone. Even if he does retain some ability to move, pain will be his constant companion. His motor skills have been damaged beyond repair. A broken man or a corpse. Time will soon tell. There are times when death is more merciful than life of perpetual agony. The chances of this unit surviving are slim. Functional usefulness in the event of stabilization of vital processes is minimal. Disposal is recommended. Heretical leave. All of us must face our fated outcome. We'll end the man's life. I grant you a merciful death. This feels sad, but it's what it is. We could get him some survival as a long, pained life. But we'll go the dogmatic. It sounds like the Bloodspun cult wanted him to be put out of his misery as well. You know, offering him mercy. So, yeah. I'll grant you a merciful death. No, mercy! Horror flashes in the man's eyes once he sees your calm expression. He lets go of the fear and bows his head in resignation. So be it. I can't take this pain anymore. I'd rather die. There is no curse more terrible than an existence between unlife and undeath. You have liberated a tormented soul, Domin Ignatius. The Undying One sees the good you have wrought.
It's about time.
Okay, so that was the next clue. He came from here with the enforcers. I wonder if the path... Because they said that sometimes paths are blocked by people building their homes. And then the enforcers just torch it to reopen the paths that are supposed to be available. Part of me is wondering if the next direction I'm supposed to go is through here somewhere. Lord Captain, the enforcer quickly puts the safety on the flamer and points the nozzle away from you. How may I serve you? What are you doing? Burning the poor shacks, Lord Captain. The rabble build them, cutting off the air supply to the next bay and making it difficult for the Inferni to work. We've told the serfs to get out of here time after time, but they won't listen, Captain Frenzo has ordered everything to be burned down, and afterwards this area to be sealed off. Stop the burning immediately. I guess if we wanted to look for other survivors. Stop the burning immediately. Stop the burning. Okay, that just gets them to stop. It doesn't allow us through. We can see a door there. We've already been up top. Is there anything else new since then and since they just pulled out?
For this, old officer.
No.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
Nope. Nothing we can do with that. Now we're back to here. We got the next verse. No idea what to do with it. I mean, I guess we could head to this side and see if the trail continues. This compartment is in quite the state. The new captain is making changes at least. Yeah. I mean, it's the problem with us as a new Lord Captain making changes, but also they've got a new enforcer head here who is making his own changes. So we don't know really what the state was beforehand, what the intent was of the previous, of Theodora and the previous leader of this compartment. Because each could have had their own opinions.
None shall stand in my way.
But yeah, I'm looking for another clue. So we've already looked at this one. It pointed us to this one. This one pointed us down. Oh, that ringing noise is not friendly. Or at least it pointed us to this guy who gave us our next clue. You met Frenzo? I think he was an enforcer captain. Yeah, I don't know exactly what his role is. He heads the enforcers in this area. So enforcer captain seems reasonable. But I feel like I've wandered this area and talked to everyone a whole bunch. So if there's something I'm supposed to see here, I'm not seeing it.
A new challenge for me.
There wasn't anything up there. Doesn't look like there's anything I can do over here. Now that we've removed the burning. Have we been back here? Yes. That's the flute player. That's the way to go down. Oh, we've got a new path suddenly here that wasn't there before. Perfect.
Victory awaits.
Alright, we've got a trail to follow. Nice. Oh yeah, we have this guy who is labeled as Dead Man that we couldn't do anything with before. And I was confused by a guy named Dead Man standing on a ledge above a train track. Alright, we will talk to Dead Man now. A sinewy, middle-aged man watches the bustle of the bay with a detached expression. Every so often, whenever his eyes linger on the blood mark inscribed nearby, his face changes strangely, and his hands clench into fists. Just as you begin to hear the rumble of an approaching train, the man's gaze turns towards the tracks. He leans forward. What do you think you're doing? Abelard, do something. Do not even think of marring the underside of my train with your entrails. Or observe silently. What do you think you're doing? What? I didn't... The man starts and almost falls, but manages to keep his balance. In the dim lumen light, you notice old scars scattered all across his body. The scars seem vaguely familiar. Are you a member of the Bloodspun cult? Pascal's Vox synthesizer springs to life with an indignant binaric trill. I'm registering this unit's intention to use the train tracks for purpose other than those intended by their design. I categorically demand that the unit's self-disposal be carried out using methods that do not violate the catechism of maintenance and operation. Your eyes always return to that blood symbol. What do you know about it? Who are you? You look like you are about to take your own life. Are you having a rotten day? Lord Imperium, look at the man's scars. I want to see what we can find out about his scars first. The scars all vary in length, width, depth, and shape. However, you notice a pattern in the way the scars are aligned, as well as a series of faded symbols on the man's rough skin. Death cultists bear similar marks on their bodies. Yeah. But spinners are constantly renewing their wounds, while this man's look long since healed. So he used to be a death cultist, but then he left? Your eyes always return to that symbol. What do you know about it? It's a symbol of the Bloodspun web. I come here every watch, but it hasn't been here before now. I guess today must be a special day. He smiles strangely. The man's faded eyes go wide as he notices Cabela. His voice quivers. You. Have you come to take me to the other side? Cabela briefly studies the man's face, then turns away. I do not know you. Death's gaze is not upon you. The man lets out a dull groan and turns to look at the symbol again. But then why? Why is it here? Who are you? A dead man. I lost my name years ago. I've just been another dead man ever since. You dare insult the rogue trader with your impudence? Your body may already be covered in scars, but your tongue seems to be asking for more. You know the symbols of the Bloodspun web, and you bear similar scars. Are you a spinner? I was, but I failed to complete my final assignment, so I was exiled from the cult. The vizier told me to kill the one who would be at a certain junction of the utility tunnels at a certain hour. I went to the appointed spot, then I waited. An hour, 2, 5. The junction was still empty. Nobody came. After hours of waiting, I finally realized the person at the junction had been me the whole time. It was my turn to go to the Undying One, but I was afraid. I couldn't do my duty. I ran. Wow. So he was doing a trial. An assignment. Was that like... Because Cabela has talked about going through the initiating trials to become officially a member of the cult. Was that what he was going through and his final trial was kill yourself? Because that's special. Or is he just saying that he was a spinner, like fully doing spinner work for a while, and then at one point his order was to kill himself and he suddenly freaked out and chose not to? Because those are two different things. You think it explains it a bit more? That's fair. So the spinner simply let you go. They made no attempts to find you and kill you? There was no pursuit. I thought I'd see their black blades the very next day. Instead, years passed without them taking my heart. I tried starting a new life, but the terror never stopped eating away at me. When I got truly desperate, I went to the Temple of Death myself, but no one there would speak to me. When I gave them my name, they just whispered, Sabrid has gone to the Undying One. They looked through me like I wasn't even there. I've lived like this for 20 years, like a coward, like a dead man. You were ordered to die. For what reason? The man looks at you. But some would choose to leave the righteous path. Those earn penance in due time. Her whip sings vengeance on renegade menace. Her blades pass sentence. For cowards seek to hide their hearts, but death makes no pretendence. It takes what it is due in essence. He stops then adds hoarsely, the third verse of the Song of Trailing Blood. The vizier recited it to me before sending me on my final assignment. I didn't realize at the time that it was my judgment. There were plenty of reasons. I sowed death. I offered him the souls of the most pleasing men and women I could find because it kindled my passions. I killed well-off crewmen who didn't deserve their wealth, and I took their thrones. I killed enforcers who looked into my eyes without fear because I wanted to be feared. I reveled in bloodshed. I betrayed the tenants. I realized it, but I couldn't help it because I enjoyed it. You do not sound particularly remorseful. Have you killed any more innocent souls since you ran? That's the real question. You are a coward and a butcher of the innocent. I will purge my ship of your existence. I will not judge you, nor will I decide your fate. Farewell. You are disgusting. I will not grant you the wreath you crave so much. May you live on in suffering, fearful of every shadow. As the Emperor's anointed, I hereby overturn the vizier's verdict. The cult ruined your life, and for what? For a few more killings? No, we're obviously not going to choose the heretical option. You do not sound particularly remorseful. I spent years in remorse. I'm tired of it. Have you killed any more innocent souls since you ran? No, I've been afraid to touch my own knife since that day, though it might just stab me on its own, but the temptation is always there. Let's see. Yeah, I think we are supposed to sentence him. Yeah, as weird as the cult are, they generally don't kill to kill someone. Yes, they always believe they have a reason, but sometimes their killing is of innocence. So the fact that he killed innocents is not necessarily wrong, because sometimes the cult apparently needs that. But it should always be people that the Emperor has pointed them to kill, not just killing for the sake of getting wealth or their own interests or just for the fun of killing. It's just, if it's been 20 years, I feel a little bit bad about judging him now, if he's been able to avoid killing for 20 years. But also, he's a murderer who has gone without trial for 20 years. So I don't have strong feelings one way or the other, and clearly the cult has led me here to pass judgment, and so I shall. You are a coward and a butcher of the innocent. I will purge my ship of your existence. The man does nothing to stop you. He even leans closer to the rails, accepting his fate with a smile on his face. The undying one is death. I mean, can we not damage the train? Can we find a better way of doing it? Like a knife. I guess not. Cabela stares at the remains of he who was once her brother in service. Truly it is better to die for him than to live for yourself. This he forgot. Alright. Well, that trail pointed me here, and now
I'll lay claim to the stars.
now it's obviously ended. Let's see, we took this path over here. Let's try and find some new path that's pointing me somewhere. Looking for more blood markings. Maybe they didn't want to make another animation. Yeah. Just feels like we have killed people with knives before, or shot them, or whatever. Seems like it'd be easy for us to have done it that way. Well, I'm not seeing... Oh! Never mind. We have another symbol. It's like, I don't see any more symbols. And then suddenly I do. A footprint has smudged this symbol slightly. The trail leads towards the slums. Not a huge surprise. So we're back over here. I don't see obvious blood markings one way or the other. Probably go down. Okay, here we go. We got another marking. The longer you stare at the mark, the quieter the sounds of the station become. The shadows grow longer and seem to stretch in the direction of the adjacent section. On the one hand, it seems petty to go, don't get your blood on my train. But on the other hand, I've been in a commuter train that hit a moose, and I do not envy whoever had to clean it. Yeah. Like, in general, the train's probably fine. There's some maintenance, some cleaning that has to be done, but it's not going to do any major damage to the train, probably. Although, I wouldn't say that nothing could happen. But it's like a person probably won't derail the train. But it's like, it's a risk and extra cleanup that's just not needed. We could have just killed him where he stood with a knife. Alright, we've already been through here. I don't see... Oh, I see more markings. Ah, we're now pointing at Zdenna the Outcast.
New challenge for me?
We already talked to you. You're just wandering around in the dark, looking for the light, but it's nowhere to be found. Do you really not see it? There is a blood symbol next to you. I have seen such marks before. Is this another part of the song of trailing blood? Zdenna bursts into hysterical laughter. Oh yes, the song. Here, listen, listen. The woman starts chanting hurriedly. She wandered an eternity in dark, yet was consoled, web foretold. Undying one's blood secret glowed, a light to guide her faithful fold. But threads must end, and so the spider did that which was owed. Her life and death to ship bestowed. She laughs again. And you'll see if you learn to see. Look into the darkness. Look. Peer into the darkness. I cannot fathom what I'm meant to see here. You peer into the darkness and are gradually able to make out the outlines of objects hidden in the shadows, rotting corpses, rough walls, the twitching death throes of infected people left here to die. You see no light in this place, only more darkness and despair. You don't see, do you? You don't see. Zdenna shakes her head frantically and starts tearing off her rags. Strips of her decaying flesh peel off along with them. You will not see until you become like Zdenna, the flesh and blood of this ship. How do I become the flagship's blood? Oh, Zdenna will show you, and you'll see the true light. Come now. Okay.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Let's definitely follow her. Oh, are you going to get yourself thrown into the vent as well? Or a careful jump through the vent. Because there are holes. Okay. I'm assuming I don't have to time it. Because that would be madness. The rotating blades promise nothing but a senseless and brutal death. Slipping past them would require some unreasonably precise calculations, or blind luck. While listening to the air currents, for a moment, you think you hear Zdenna's whispered prayer rising from the depths of the shaft. Requires dogmatic. Pray to the Emperor, I put my life in thy hands, for I believe truly that thou wilt protect. A heretical option. We could just jump. Or shout into the shaft. I've had it with this madness and with your riddles. I'm not going to risk my life for the sake of finding some temple. Or step away. We will trust in the Emperor. I put my life in thy hands, for I believe truly that thou wilt protect. We've got a crew that's basically all dogmatic. Except for Abelard, who is focused on following the rogue trader, and so he'll probably follow us anyway. And the dogmatic people probably will be fine with this. The words come easily, and all of your doubts fade away. Somehow you know, with certainty, that your life will not end here. Alright, let's make our jump. Did you already go to the gruel pot? Yes, I did. We went through this whole area, doing everything. Put your life in the Undying One's hands, Dom Ignatius. For the throne's sake. Stop, don't do it. Yeah, we went through the whole area, and then I decided to go back to actually start following the blood marks.